Attention on the grid. Attention on the grid. Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT3 comparators. 10 minutes to start formation lap. Pit exit is now closed. Please clear the grid except for officials and team technicians. Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT3 comparators. 10 minutes to start formation lap. Pit exit is now closed. Please clear the grid except for officials and team technicians.
From GT4 to GT3 here on the gear circuit at Macau, the Greater Bay Area GT Cup is about to get underway. The grid is formed. It's going to be a grid slightly depleted after a huge accident at the end yesterday. We'd had a spin for the Aston Martin of Anderson Hay, and he was collected in turn by Chris Shear, who suffered some damage to his spine in that. Went to hospital last night with a spinal fracture, but he's on the mend and we wish him well, but it was a big, big hit. And Darrell O'Young, who has been one of the stalwart Macau racers over the last 2 decades, and indeed the winner of the GT Cup back in 2008, he's the man on pole position, and he very much starts as the favourite, although Kang Ling, with his Lamborghini GT3 Evo with him at the front of the grid, is going to be a tough opposition. So too Kevin Say, who you've seen racing in British GT. Indeed, he's a race winner in British GT back at Alton Park a couple of years ago, and he's racing GT World Challenge Europe as well. He will start third, and starting fourth on the grid is Chang Qianshang. Again, a man to keep an eye on over the course of the 8 laps. It's not a very long race for GT3 cars, but it is going to be spectacular nonetheless. And that's Darrell O'Young on pole position then for Craft Bamboo Racing, the Mercedes AMG GT3. And he knows exactly how to win this. He did it in 08, he did it again in 2021.
It's getting warm today. We've got the sunshine out at Macau now, and the sunshine beating down on the grid, so the umbrellas are out and you can see the drivers already with helmets on are getting pretty warm inside the cars, and maybe some of them making the most of the fresh air before they get themselves strapped in. That's Ling Kang in the Lamborghini, the Phantom Pro Racing Lamborghini, getting himself ready.
Takes off his Oakleys, puts on his balaclava and his helmet. That's the car for third on the grid. Kevin Say, the Macau Road Sport champion in 2011. He's raced in the German Polo Cup, British GT, Chinese Renault Clios, you name it, he seems to have done it.
And today we'll do it around the streets of Macau. Onto the outside of the second row of the grid. That's the 88 car of Chang Qianshang. And certainly making the most of the shade being proffered by the umbrellas. These cars are going to get very warm.
Chang Qianshang, the man that won the GT4 race 2 years ago, so he's got a good pedigree around here. As there is 66 of Min Heng. Now, I think I'm right in saying that the grid that was published has now been amended, given that we've got a few gaps. So Min Heng switches across, and that brings forward there, one row, Liu Luk Ka. The orange Mercedes of Alex Liu, the Elegant Racing Team Mercedes, moves forward therefore.
Going back, it's the number 22 car of Lion Yang in the K-Sport Porsche. All of them typically very brightly coloured, the predominantly orange Porsche.
That is Li Qingxian, number 14 in the Porsche 911, operated for the purposes of this weekend by the Team KRC outfit. More Porsches en masse next week for the GT Cup, which carries the FIA GT World Cup tag in a week's time.
Korshin getting ready for the start of this race, which should get underway in 6 minutes' time. It's remarkable to think as we look at the number 19 car of Lin Hao, Vincent Lin. The first of the races today started underneath the control of a safety car on a wet track. 27 is Andrew Harrianto in the Be Quick Absolute Racing Audi.
And with the eyes upon it, 89 BMW of Ran Kun Fan is going to be next on the grid. He will start up against the pit wall side, regular in the TCR categories, TCR Asia, TCR China. He's raced Formula 4, drove in the Shanghai 8 Hours this year, which was a midweek race, interestingly. 26 then, Hank Kicks, the man behind Be Quick, the car accessory business that he masterminds across the Far East. And the Audi is that of Vincent Florendo. And we're 5 minutes away from the start of the rolling start lap here, the formation lap. At the back of the grid is Adrian De Silva's Porsche. Now that, you might notice, has a rather anonymous front end, and that was because he went off at the Melco hairpin yesterday, did a lot of frontal damage, so a new nose has had to be grafted onto the car.
Which might not be a perfect match, but it's a nose nonetheless.
Exactly.
That's what matters.
That car run by Earl Bamber Motorsport, and Earl will be racing here next week in the GT Cup as well. So the grid is being cleared, and very shortly then we'll be in business. So we lost Chris Cheer, we've lost Anderson Hay after yesterday, but there's enough on that grid, I think, to make this an interesting race.
We don't need many GT3 cars around the gear circuit here at Macau to bring a smile to the face, because that is exactly what they do. They are hugely powerful cars, they are brilliantly sorted cars, and they always give us a huge amount of entertainment here at Macau. Super to see GT3 on the gear circuit. And over the course of a Macau weekend, you try not to have favourites, but I do thoroughly enjoy watching and hearing GT3 cars echo around the circuit.
I'm in danger of being a bit blasé, because I'm fortunate enough to go to a lot of GT3 races and get to see them, whether it's at Spa or more modern day circuits, if you like. But there is something about putting them around here. The other special thing is that it's a single driver race
and
as well.
Short race.
Yeah,
a short race is a sprint race,
and that you only really get at the Motorsport Games, if you like. So to see them around here, because you're right, it is an amazing circuit for these cars. You think, well, they never fit, you know, they're almost too big, but it's a mighty sight. And
to hear them, because they echo the barriers either side of the circuit here on the road course. It's so exciting. It's one for the senses, isn't it?
Well, it is, because that, again, is all part of the beauty of GT cars. And in a world where increasingly there is electrification, the fact that you still have cars like this that make fantastic noises and make the ground tremble as they accelerate is to be embraced. So this is the grid. Darrell Young is on pole position, and Lin Kang lines up with him ahead of Kevin Say and Chang Xian Shang. Min Heng lines up fifth with Alex Liu for company, ahead of, in number 22, Liu Yang. Number 14 is Li Qing Xin, and then behind there is Guo Ko Xin, and alongside will be then Lin Hao. Andrew Harrianto and Ruan Kunfan are next, ahead of Hank Kicks and Vincent Florendo. Adrian De Silva rounds out the grid. 15 cars then we have from an original 17, I think, that we got into the qualifying session. So it's a shame. I mean, Anderson Hay, just to finish the story, if you didn't see practice and qualifying yesterday, Anderson Hay had a spin coming into Fisherman's. The car was in the middle of the road and he couldn't restart it, so the session was stopped. And then after the red flag, Chris Shear arrived at very, very high speed, hadn't slowed, and ploughed into the parked car and destroyed both and did himself quite a bit of harm. So we wish Chris Shear well, but there was a sort of salutary lesson in all of that about respecting the flags, because the session had been stopped for a reason, and normally you're anticipated to slow right down, and he didn't, and ended up causing a bigger problem.
Yeah, it was a horrible accident to watch, actually. Yeah. Quite an impact.
And Anderson Hay had been sitting there for probably 5 minutes or so, waiting to be allowed to jump out of the car, and all of a sudden, bang, he has to go through an impact, and his weekend's wrecked.
And the car wasn't too bad, was it, before that?
I think he did only spun. I don't think he'd actually hit anything. So it really was the sort of double whammy. Well, there is Lin Kang, and he is the man most likely to take the battle here to Darrell O'Young. Darrell knows this place very, very well indeed. In a few moments' time, the cars are going to be released onto the formation lap. The pace car awaits, and one lap around the circuit. Darrell O'Young has raced, whether it's in touring cars or GT cars, for many, many seasons. Started off in karts in Canada, raced Formula 1600, Formula 2000. He's been in Carrera Cup. He's been in the DTM even for a time, as well as the World Endurance Championship. He's twice a Carrera Cup Asia champion, twice a Bathurst 12-hour winner, and GT Asia champion as well. Oh, and a double winner of the GT Cup at Macau. It's not a bad CV. And
just a notification for everybody came up on the timing screen as the cars go off on their formation lap that we have slippery surface here at Macau. That's at turn 18. It is a legacy of the GT4 race that went before this. There was basically a roadblock of GT4 cars, and quite a bit of fluid was unfortunately put down on the circuit, which the marshals have been dressing ever since, and so too circuit staff with their Bowsers have been out there to dress the circuit and to make sure that we can go racing. But still, despite all of that work, the notification needs to go to the drivers before this race gets underway that we are still a bit slippery down there. That's on the run down towards the Melco hairpin.
So the slippery surface flag will be shown, and also the slippery surface light. There are 21 electronic flag points being trailed this year, particularly the blind spots on the circuit. And so another way of getting the message across to drivers wherever possible as they come down towards Lisboa. This is where Darrell O'Young had a big drama in the qualifying race 2 years ago, but bounced back from it to win on the Sunday.
And the car looked as if it would do no more work over the course of the weekend. It was a quite incredible story, wasn't it?
Yeah, hit oil, fired into the barrier. And on this formation lap then, at the end of it, they'll get themselves in the 2x2 formation. So this is our 4th race of the day. And it's our 5th race of the day, and it has been one rather interrupted. Everything so far has either had safety cars or red flags today. But let's see what the GT3 contingent can do, because these cars need to be treated with respect, don't they?
Last year we had a lot of incidents on race day, and we said when we were getting into the GT3 cars that the chances were that we would potentially have problems for the GT3 cars just because they're hugely powerful, they're big cars around this circuit, and we were very, very pleasantly surprised, really, weren't we?
Absolutely so. Fingers crossed we will be again, and they've got the dramas out of the way yesterday. So it's a Lamborghini leading at the moment in terms of the pace car, but you've got a Lamborghini second on the grid. Lin Kang driving for the Phantom Pro Racing team. Go back a good few years, you might recall him on the FIA European Formula 3 Championship grid from Nuka Motorsport. He didn't really excel in single-seaters at the time, but with the lessons learned, has put that into practice and has become a pretty accomplished driver back in this region as Lin Kang. He drove in the French F4 Championship as well as the Formula Renault Alps Series, but after coming back to Asia, drove in China GT, in Lamborghini Super Trofeo, in Formula 3 in Asia, in Asian Le Mans, in LMP2 specification cars, and has raced this year in the GT World Challenge Asia. But he does still race in Europe. He takes part in what's called the Ultimate Cup Series. He was 3rd in that, and it's a sort of French catch-all endurance series. So it's good cars in that, it's good races.
Leading around the Melco hairpin, it is not the work of a moment to get a GT3 car around the Melco hairpin, and they all thread their way through neatly behind the control of the Lamborghini safety car, and with the lights on, it will get the race underway in just a couple of moments. GT3 cars for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup for the 70th Macau Grand Prix is about to get underway. Indication on the timing screen from race control. The cars now need to assume grid formation ahead of the start of the race.
And that means they get themselves side by side. It means that Darrell O'Young now looks across and sees Lin Kang alongside him. It means that behind you've got Kevin Say with the inside line, of course, for the first left-hand corner of Reservoir, and then on his outside is going to be Chang Xian Shang. So here they come down towards the right-hander of our bend. The pace car, as it is, dives into the pit lane, and the Greater Bay Area GT Cup for the GT3 cars about to get underway. The start, the run down towards Lisboa are absolutely crucial, as we see every race every year, and the lights are about to change to get the race underway now, with a good start by Darrell O'Young, but is it an even better start by Lin Kang on the outside line? The Lamborghini makes a very good getaway, but O'Young's got the shorter line for turn one, and through he goes at Reservoir. Mercedes leads, Lamborghini is second, and Kang Lin comes out of the slipstream then to try to make his move as they come down towards us. So Darrell O'Young leads the way, and a change for third place, because up on the inside there goes Chan Shen Shang ahead of Kevin Say, and the top two breaking clear.
Yeah, I rather thought the Lamborghini got the best of the starts as they went over the line. It looked as if the Lamborghini was just going to get ahead of the Mercedes. Darrell O'Young responded. They get around Lisboa. Not everybody gets around Lisboa.
Kevin Say gets tapped around, and the road is just about blocked, isn't it? So Kevin Say needs to try and wriggle out of there, but others, yep, there's a bit of a gap. After you, Henk Kicks is delayed, Andrew Harrianto is delayed, and if they can't all get going, we're going to end up with an interruption because of the drama. It was all triggered, I think, Kevin Say on the outside line by Alex Liu, look, in the orange Mercedes, who clattered his way up the inside, and then bang, Kevin Say got turned around by Liao Yang in the K-Sport Porsche, and after that, if you got through, you were lucky.
It's really tight down there at Lisboa. I've said it a couple of times, and it comes off the back of actually doing a little bit of a track walk down there on Wednesday evening. And you look at it, you know the camera angles that you see on television, and you just kind of take that right-hander for granted as an overtaking position. But the barrier on the outside, it's very, very close.
And it means that the race for the lead continues here with Darrell O'Young ahead of the Lamborghini of Lin Kang. And I don't think anybody else has got out of that. Oh no, cars are getting out of that corner now. But the pace of the race, of course, the flow, massively interrupted. You could argue it might always have been a two-horse race anyway, given their pace in qualifying, but as the leaders come downhill, others have got through the melee, seemingly, and at the end of lap number one, it's going to be Darrell O'Young in the lead, chased by Lin Kang in the Lamborghini, and after that, pretty much everybody badly delayed. And there, look, is Alex Liu. He has come to grief as well. Well, he got involved with Kevin Say early on, and then he's had his own dramas elsewhere on the lap. The order at the end of this first lap is going to be fascinating to see who has survived. It's going to be Darrell O'Young in the lead. Second is Lin Kang. And then in third place over the line is Chan Shen Shang, who'd already made that move up into third place. But after that, I might have to sit down and wait for fourth.
0.9 of a second, the advantage for Darrell O'Young. Safety car being deployed, so that's going to bunch up the field. There you go. We will get the field all bunched up, and we will have it as a result of a safety car.
Indeed so, and now we'll see how many got away from the incident zone down at Lisboa. I bet you the road's clear, which is amazing, isn't it, after what we saw? But as soon as there's a gap, people get through. But you're right, safety car deployed, and this will bring the likes of Kevin Say and one or two others that were delayed back into the mix.
There's that again. Leader, please slow down. Second time we've seen that today.
So that goes on the screens. The team will see it, and they'll be on the radio at Craft Bamboo Racing to Darrell O'Young to say, OK, need a slow. The safety car is on track. And Alex Liu is the cause of all of this, and I think that car is probably not too far away.
So safety car control is going to bunch up the field. It's for an incident, the incident at turn 12, which is up on the twisty, tight section of the gear circuit here at Macau. And really such a good start from the Lamborghini of Lin Kang. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? But of course, next time around, it's going to be a single file restart. So he won't have the advantage of being alongside. So that coming through Palau is where Alex Lewis comes to grief. Now, that's not a corner you often find a car off at.
It's a rarity that you get that camera angle and a stricken car in the frame. But, you can have a moment anywhere at Macau, and generally when you do have a moment at Macau, it's quite a damaging moment.
Now there's more bodywork there suggesting that there's been a second incident, unless that was a legacy of dramas down at Lisboa and bodywork just being shed around the lap, but there's no car to go with that.
No, there's a lot going on this lap, isn't there? So
yeah.
I think the deployment of the safety car was good news as far as getting the track is clear in more than one place.
Yeah, you get the feeling that yes, Adrian Henry de Silva's Porsche has come in with a puncture. So I wonder whether that might have been anything to do with him, that we saw debris on the road. That's pretty bad luck, isn't it, from the back of the grid, and then a puncture. What did he run over? Unless it was some of that debris.
Might have been, yeah.
And it wasn't his to begin with.
Leaders already having made their way through the Macau hairpin and down towards the conclusion of the lap. Headed by Darrow Young. The Lamborghini with Ling Kang in second place. And the safety car will pick them up in just a couple of moments, as the field already under the control of Darrow Young have closed right up. So he responded really well to the instruction from race control that the leader please slow down. He did, and that is a result of not just a puncture but destroying a tyre.
Absolutely. So not even a lap out of that Michelin for Adrian de Silva. And it's not been his weekend, has it, with damage yesterday, and he's already gone a lap down while he's in the pit lane and they try and sort out the dramas. He also arrived in the wrong lane in the pits, but got there eventually. So the drivers go through. Darrow Young leading Ling Kang, and then Chang Xianshang in third. Min Heng is fourth. Fifth is Liao Yang, and then sixth is Guo Xin. And that's, yeah, the title's already gone, hasn't it? So it was his debris that we saw, because there the rubber flails and it takes the inner guard of the wheel arch off with it. So
that answers that question.
It does, and it explains why it's a long stop as well. It's more than just putting on a new wheel and tyre, because there's probably some damage there as well.
There's a bit to be done there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Poor old Porsche. Meanwhile, the safety car has picked up the field. Darrow Young at the front of it, and plenty of weaving going on to keep heat in the tyres under the control of the safety car. Through Lisboa. The right-hander onto San Francisco. Up the hill they go towards Maternity. And under a safety car, the field all bunch up together.
They do indeed, and of course all these laps count within the 8 for the purposes of the race duration. So this is lap number 3, and therefore it'll be 5 laps to go when they cross the line this time around. Darrow Young controlling the pace pretty much early on, with Ling Kang doing the chasing, but then in third place Chang Xianshang, who I think I've said earlier on has been a GT4 winner here in the past. Came out of the Macau Road Sport Challenge, so he's worked his way up, hasn't he, from Road Sports, GT4, GT3. That progression is there.
The staircase of opportunity at Macau
Absolutely right.
is paying off. We see it so often on support packages, don't we? So the indication now to keep right at turn 12. Yeah, we see it on packages that go around racing. You've got with British touring cars, we've had for many years Ginetta Juniors that could lead up to bigger Ginettas, the G55s and latterly G56s. In the future with British touring cars, we've got a Toka Junior package promised to provide the staircase into touring cars. But, we have the same here at Macau, don't we? To work your way through the various categories and then take part in some of the blue ribband championships that we see competing here at Macau.
Porsche always, of course, promote that. You know, there's the sort of Cayman series to start off in, then you go into your National Carrera Cup, and then the Super Cup, and then there's international GT racing. In fact, you can start off in a Porsche Blessed Esports Championship now as well, and then go to real world Porsche racing as they're thinking. Porsche, number 14 of Li Qingxin goes through, the Team KRC 992 iteration of the 911.
There's only 3 Porsches in the field, aren't there? Yeah.
But mob-handed next week to take on Mercedes and BMW in the GT Cup.
Yes, indeed.
Can't wait. Thought of Kevin Estre around here in a Porsche, honestly.
Pretty good.
Oh,
pretty good.
It's worth a flight alone.
It is.
I'd sit in the hold for
that.
Well,
don't go home. Just stay here. Why don't you? Have a couple of days off. Go to the museum.
That's a good idea. I've got a book to read.
Do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a really cool museum here at Macau. celebrating motorsport and the Macau Grand Prix over the years.
There's got to be a Belgian beer bar as well. I'll investigate both. Rely on me. So Darryl O'Young brings the field through. Craft Bamboo Racing, another hugely experienced team with success, of course, in touring cars as well as in GT racing. And with the circuit needing to be swept, and Alex Liu's car, which I'm surprised actually hasn't been able to rejoin. It didn't look that damaged, but maybe it had a puncture as well, or had picked up some damage, hence it wasn't able to restart. Another lap is going to be needed behind the safety car then. This will be the end of lap 3.
And what a different scene to the one that greeted us this morning. There were big standing puddles all the way around the circuit here. Heavy overnight rain here at Macau, and the Formula 4 drivers had to contend with some pretty tricky conditions. So too for the first race for the TCR Challenge here at Macau earlier in the day. And if you remember, we said at the end of the Formula 4 race, let's hope it dries out over the course of today and we can see a proper dry race over 12 laps for Formula 4. Our wish has been granted, hasn't it? The forecast for this afternoon is that the weather is going to stay exactly as it is at 1:05 in the afternoon, local time, and a dry track, sunshine, and a very, very happy crowd. A big crowd as well, filling the grandstands for the entertainment that we get here at Macau. We are under the control of safety car for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup, GT3 cars. And the Lamborghini Urus leading Darryl O'Young, Ling Kang, and the rest of the field around the circuit. I wonder if we're going to see the safety car going in at the end of this lap. It will be lap number 4, half-distance lap, this one.
It all rather depends, doesn't it, on where the Alex Liu Mercedes is, or Liu car, but Alex Liu to give him his westernised name. And that was the car that was up against the wall. So the race director will be keeping an eye to all of this. He'll be looking at these pictures. He'll have the CCTV pictures as well in race control from the marshal's posts, which of course often can reveal things before we see them. So they're the field turning through. It's going to be a good battle for third, isn't it, when we go racing? Chang Qianshang versus Min Heng. 2 Mercedes together. And then Liao Yang behind in the orange Porsche.
So Darryl O'Young, car number 55, pole position yesterday at 2:19.304, and Ling Kang in the Lamborghini with a 2:26.90. So less than a second between the two of them. Sorry, slightly over a second between the two of them yesterday in qualifying. But that hasn't transposed into the race today, in as much as the Lamborghini was keeping seemingly in touch with the Mercedes.
Safety car in this lap.
Which is good news.
It is.
Get racing back underway at half distance. So the safety car goes off down the gear circuit, and in single file, Darryl O'Young will control the restart for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup, GT3 cars. Here we go then. We are soon to get the race back underway.
So Darryl O'Young accelerates now out of Fisherman's up towards our bend, and with the green flag ready on the start line, this is the opportunity for Ling Kang to try to go after Darryl O'Young. Of course, you can't do any overtaking until you've broken the timing beam, and the race back underway now as they see the green flag. So Mercedes versus Lamborghini. The margin as they go through then is 0.4 of a second, and this is where Ling Kang has got to be brave and stay on the tail of O'Young and try and challenge at Lisboa, but he's not really close enough, is he?
He's trying his very best, isn't he? And he is shadowing every move that Darryl O'Young does. The Lamborghini has, I think, maybe closed up a little bit as they go through Mandarin, down on the run towards Lisboa. This is the most amazing opportunity on the gear circuit to have a look down on the inside. The Lamborghini does it and then thinks twice about it, takes a wide line on the entry, but slots in behind. He's showing intention, isn't he?
He is, and he's got to do it now before Young gets into his stride, and he's able to maintain the advantage all the way up the mountain section of the circuit, which is happening now. This is where it's so narrow, it's virtually impossible to overtake there, unless the guy ahead makes a mistake and goes into the wall. And even then, you've got to be careful that you don't get embroiled in it yourself. In third place, Chang Qian-Shan goes through. Darryl Young leads, but he's not getting away, is he? Lin Kang is keeping him honest on this lap number 5.
He absolutely is. The Lamborghini shadowing every move of Darryl Young and certainly showing the intention of taking the lead of this GT3 Greater Bay Area GT Cup race. Darryl Young is keeping it neat, keeping it tidy. That's exactly what he needs to do, despite the fact he's under more pressure than he has been race long, isn't he?
Yeah.
With the Lamborghini right there. He stretches his legs a bit on the run down towards Police, turns right into Police, on towards Moorish, up Moorish Hill.
He locked up though going into Police, so the gap that he just pulled came down again. Darryl Young with a little moment there, not much, but just enough, and it's thrown a lifeline to Lin Kang, who is quick through Donna Maria, and then this short run on towards Malco Hairpin, where you can't overtake, and the race leaders come down towards the braking zone now.
And they close up under braking. They close right up under braking, but the power goes down first of all. Too close to the barrier for Lin Kang on the exit of the Malco Hairpin. Was there a touch? I think there might have been.
Yes, I think there was. Whether it was a wheel or whether it was just the bodywork, we'll have to try and ascertain. But something touched, and if it was a wheel, then he's going to have a bit of damage.
Look at the result, the gap. Look at the gap. Goodness me, the gap is extended between first and second. Darryl Young now has an advantage.
Part of his problem was he couldn't get round the corner. That was exacerbated by the contact. And then when he did get round the corner and the power came in, it sort of speared him off towards the right. So there was time lost sorting out that moment as well. And Darryl Young now leading by 1.5 seconds.
It has destroyed all the good work that Lin Kang had done on that opening lap, because he had kept right with Darryl Young, and Lin Kang was driving a very, very good restart, wasn't he? The Lamborghini, the MGM backed Lamborghini, looks absolutely fantastic in real life. The gold shining on the side of the Lamborghini, looks spectacular in the sunshine as they now turn into Lisboa. This time, Darryl Young has a little bit of a cushion before the second place Lamborghini. And
in third, Chang Qian-Shan, a bit lonely because he's cleared Min Hang, but he can't really go after the Lambo at the moment. So Lin Kang hangs on to that second place, and Darryl Young now trying to pull clear. He's been given a little bit of an easier ride through the mistake of Lin Kang a lap ago. But actually, Ling is on the money again, isn't he? He's absolutely hurling the car around because he's gone fractionally quicker to do an absolute best within the second sector of the lap. So he's not giving up.
Purple in sector 2 then for Lin Kang in the pursuing second place Lamborghini. There's Darryl Young turning through the twisty section of the circuit, and let's see what Lin Kang can do on this sector 3 of the gear circuit here at Macau in his pursuit of the race leader. The Mercedes of Darryl Young, vastly experienced, is a winner here at Macau. Is Darryl Young, turns through Police, the right-hander, up towards Moorish, through the right-hander at Moorish, then up Moorish Hill. And Darryl Young, he can look in his mirrors, he can see the Lamborghini is there, trying to close the gap, which was 1.5 seconds at the end of lap number 5. It's an 8-lap race. Down towards the Malco hairpin they go once again. The Mercedes and the Lamborghini. Yeah, you can see now the result of that, can't you? Because they were tied together on the previous laps. And as they turn through, it's not the work of a moment to turn a GT3 car, any GT car, around the Malco hairpin. And the exit was just what cost the Lamborghini of Lin Kang everything in the gap between himself and the race leader.
So Darryl Young with an advantage at the start of the lap of 1.5 seconds. He's done an absolute best, the 2 absolute best in the sectors of Lin Kang on this lap. So the Lamborghini is trying to fight back as they come now over the timing line once more. That puts 6 laps in the book for the leader, so 2 to go, but the margin is 1.6 seconds. Darryl Young, new fastest lap of the race, responding to the challenge behind him.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because the Lamborghini went overall quickest in sectors 2 and 3. Darryl Young then got the idea and went overall quickest in sectors 4 and 5, and the result of that was Darryl Young got the fastest lap of the race at 2:26.06. Compare that to the qualifying time yesterday to take pole at 2:19.304. So we're some way away off that pace, but the gap extended by only 1/10 over that lap.
So it's very cat and mouse between the two, but it is the Mercedes with the advantage as Lin Kang comes towards us. There's something about the Lamborghini, whether it's the shape of the car, I can't necessarily say, but it always looks a quick car. Any Lamborghini, it's just got a dramatic shape.
It does, yeah.
Whereas the Mercedes, yes, is very quick, and it's hugely successful, the Mercedes AMG GT3, but because of all that torque, it perhaps doesn't have quite the same fast look to it, if that makes any sense at all.
It looks and sounds like a beast.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And it just sort of delivers in its own way, whereas that Lamborghini is really being hustled on, and to the eye, the gap's coming down. Another absolute best by Lin Kang in sector 2, and that took 3/10 out of the margin, in fact, as Kevin Say, recovering from being turned around earlier on, he's up into the top 10 now.
And again, Lin Kang in sector 3 as well, overall best in those first two sectors, sector 2 and sector 3. It was the same on the previous lap, and then Darrell Young responded last time. Let's see if he does this time with overall best sectors in sectors 4 and 5. They're coming down towards the Macau hairpin. Let's see what happens as they thread their way through the Macau hairpin. Much closer this time, the Lamborghini to the back of the Mercedes, and we're happy about the start in race control now.
Okay, they've had a look at the formation and are happy, as you rightly say, as Darrell Young then leads the way. He's just done another absolute best sector. This is where the Mercedes seems to have the advantage, where it can use all of that power, but the aero-friendly Lamborghini, again in its own right, a very capable, very successful GT3 shape, comes into our bend now, up towards the line. End of the lap they will be, and there is the last lap board, because that's 7 in the book and 1 to go. Kang Ling, what could he do? He's just done the fastest lap of the race. He's taken 7/10 out of the margin, but 9/10 is the gap, and I don't think he's going to get close enough at Lisboa, which realistically is his last chance.
We're on the final lap, and it's all about down to Lisboa, and as they come through Mandarin, this incredibly quick part of the circuit. It's funny, isn't it? 2 laps consecutively. Sectors 2 and sector 3 are held by Lin Kang, but Darrell Young this time means business. He's just put in an overall best first sector, and Lin Kang in that pursuit, he brought the gap down to 1 second. Now this is the part of the circuit that the Lamborghini over the last couple of laps has absolutely dominated. He's taken purple sectors in sectors 2 and 3. This is where he's going to try and catch up onto the back of Darrell Young. It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, but he's making a proper race of this.
And there's drama at Lisboa, because another of the Mercedes has been turned around, look, and so there, facing the traffic, Shin, he will be able to get going, hopefully. Everybody else has dodged around him. We won't need the race to be neutralised. It's the last lap anyway, as there are the race leaders. Darrell Young trying to respond. He's done an absolute best in the first sector, but that was only, get this, 1,000th quicker than Lin Kang behind him, who in turn is 2/10 quicker in the next sector. He has not given up. Lin Kang needs this to be a 12-lap race. He's just going to run out of time, but he's got the fastest lap, and he is throwing everything at this.
What a shame it's not, because this is superb. Darrell Young leads from Lin Kang. Mercedes leads from Lamborghini. They go around Donna Maria, and it's on this next corner at the Macau hairpin that really did cost the Lamborghini of Lin Kang in second place. It was just brushing the barrier on the exit. Doesn't do that this time. Keeps it neat and tidy. But the trouble is for Lin Kang, this is where the Mercedes of Darrell Young really dominates.
He needs Darrell to make a mistake, doesn't he? He's going to try and force an error out of Darrell Young, and they don't come very often. 1 corner to go. The R-bend beckons. The Greater Bay Area GT Cup for the GT3 cars will go to the checkered flag. It will be a battle to the line between Darrell Young and Lin Kang. Checkered flag awaits, and another race win at Macau. His 3rd GT Cup win. Darrell Young wins the Greater Bay Area GT Cup ahead of Lin Kang. And then for 3rd place, another of the Mercedes is going to be Chen Qianshang. A delighted Craft Bamboo Racing team celebrates with the Mercedes AMG technicians, and it's all smiles as for 4th place across the line comes Min Heng. 5th, Liao Zhang's Porsche, and then 6th was going to be, of course, Kuo Shin, but he had a spin, and that is Kevin Say, who's also had a drama on the last lap, coming between Fisherman's and our bend, so he's trying to get himself sorted as others dodge around. So that means that 6th in the end is going to be Li Qingxin, 7th Andrea Haryanto, 8th place to Ran Kunfan, and after that, if you survive, you're going to get a place in the top 10.
We've had good racing here at Macau today. We've had super races, and now we just get...
Oh, Kevin Say too wide on the marbles. missed everything but lost it.
Yeah, didn't hit the barrier.
Oh, he did there.
And
yes,
did there.
on the inside, but he was out way wide coming out of Black Sands, wasn't he? On the marbles, just ran out of grip.
Yep, just on the final lap. So well done, Daryl O'Young. Another victory here at Macau. Flashing the lights, enjoying the slowdown lap, and that was maybe not the race he was expecting. He was under a lot more pressure than perhaps we could have predicted at the start of yesterday.
Go along with that, certainly it was a very good drive by Lin Kang. It shows you the importance of the start. Adam Christodoulou was touching on it in the press conference after the GT4 race. This is how we lost number 12 Mercedes right at the very end. It was contact from a rather overly ambitious Li Qingxin that turned around Kwa Xin's Mercedes backwards into the wall. And poor old Kevin Say yet again delayed, and then he had his own spin at the end of the lap. But as ever, keeping out of trouble, vastly important to a half-decent result at Macau. Daryl O'Young doing things absolutely perfectly.
Great race that, and in fact every race we have had today has had a lot to get excited about. Super racing around the Macau circuit, the gear circuit here at Macau. The marshals waving to Daryl O'Young, victor once again at Macau, and I think waving as well to Lin Kang, thanking Lin Kang for a very, very exciting race. That the MGM sponsorship on the side of the Lamborghini, reflecting one of the talking point hotels here at Macau. It is a quite exceptional hotel at Macau. It is so much more than just a hotel. And the black and gold livery on the Lamborghini, can be very proud of that race.
Yeah. And in fairness, Daryl O'Young didn't just sit there and defend, did he? He had to really try, and that was proved by the fact that he kept having to do absolute best sectors to try to get away. And if Lin Kang hadn't had that moment at the Melco hairpin, who knows, could have been a different story. Kevin Say did get to the end, but in 11th place after a really difficult race for him. Top 10 was rounded out behind Ran Kutfan by Vincent Lin and Vincent Florendo.
So that's your winner, Daryl O'Young. A winner once again here at Macau. The 55 Mercedes heads onwards and inwards into the pit lane for the celebrations. You saw how happy the team were. You could hear how happy the team were for a victory at Macau. And now the celebrations can commence.
Tremendous effort by Graf Bamboo Racing and Daryl O'Young. No mistakes. Perfect drive, and the car peels to the back of the pit lane where it will go to the scrutineering area for the mandatory technical checks. And we have 2 more races still to come, the second TCR Asia Challenge race and the Macau Formula 4 race to round out race day Sunday here on the gear circuit. Big cheers, Daryl O'Young arrives, yeah.
It's so cool. A very, very happy team. Welcome back, Daryl O'Young, and supporters alike. Daryl O'Young will be impressed by the Lamborghini driver as well. Interesting to see their reaction to each other down in Parc Fermé, because that gave us a race.
Absolutely so. Bit of help needed just to line the car up so it can get onto the scrutineering patch. And the technical team will weigh the car, make sure that everything is as the regulations dictate. Daryl, such a character at this venue. He's even got his own merchandise unit outside.
I saw that, yeah.
So success continues. A 3rd GT Cup win at Macau for Daryl O'Young. Of course, the other great thing about this, even if you are a driver that you see regularly in a championship in that car, the livery is always different here to reflect local sponsors, local industry. HK Asia Medical Holding adoring the car.
He's smiling.
He is.
With good reason.
And in a moment, the car's going to be off the scales and he'll be able to hop out.
So, door opened. Quick word with the scrutineers, the technical team here at Macau. And then we can see the smile on the face of Daryl O'Young and the celebration with the team. Lovely to see. And a thumbs up away for the camera. And now the preparation for the podium after the obligatory driver weigh-in with all of the equipment, the gloves, the suit, the helmet, everything.
And the gear circuit takes a breath before the next race, but Darrell Young winning the Greater Bay Area GT3 Cup race from Lin Kang and Chang Xianshang in third place. Min Heng fourth from Liao Yang, and then Li Qinghin. Andre Harriento seventh ahead of Ran Kunfan and Vincent Lin ninth, and then Vincent Florendo for the Be Quick Absolute Racing team with his Audi rounding out the top 10. 11th, Kevin Say, who I thought had been classified 10th originally, but anyway, 11th he is in the end ahead of Hank Kicks, and then Kuokua Shin, the final classified finisher of the 13. Adrian De Silva retiring early after a desperate weekend, and Alex Liu also crashing out. So driver and car on the scales. The car is weighed, the drivers are weighed to combine to make sure that the information is correct. There's a regulation weight, minimum weight for car and driver. Darrell Young already clear of the scrutineering bay, making his way now to the podium at the front of the race control building, overlooking the pit lane and the start and finish area, and he'll head to the cheers of those from the grandstand. The officials then making sure they've got the right drivers, and a very pleased Darrell Young, then the Canadian-born Hong Kong driver, making his way to yet another win here.
That's a great sight, isn't it? Real joy on the face. Reflects winning one race at Macau is special. Winning more than one still brings the same joy.
Absolutely. And a race like that, which was tough, even more so.
Yeah, quite right too. Super race that.
So more photographs for Darrell Young. He won. So now he will head to the podium. And the Craft Bamboo Racing patron. Very impressive job yet again here. Trophy girls in place. The podium is just about ready here on race day Sunday at Macau.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 70th Macau Grand Prix Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT3 trophy presentation ceremony. First of all, let's welcome our top 3 finishers to the podium. The second runner-up, number 88, Zhang Qianshang from Chinese Taipei. And the first runner-up, number 8, Lin Kang from China. The winner is number 55, Ouyang Daryl Hayden from Hong Kong, China. Congratulations to the top 3 drivers. And now I would like to invite our guests to present the laurel and trophy. Let's welcome Mr. Sean McCreary, Executive Vice President of Operations of Sense China Limited, to present the laurel and trophy to the 3rd place driver. Congratulations. And Mr. McCreary, please also present the laurel and the trophy to our first runner-up, Lin Kang, number 6 from China. Thank you. And now I would like to invite Mr. Pon Wan-kun, President of the Sports Bureau and Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the laurel and trophy to the winner, Ouyang Daryl Hayden from Hong Kong, China. Congratulations. And also I would like to invite our drivers to reach to the top of the podium to take a photo together, please. 好，我们的车手们可以一起到台上拍一张合照。Please look to the front.